novel is called The Curious Calling of Leonard Bush. It is from Blair Publishers. It is, as I say, it is a novel. A 12-year-old boy loses his leg in East Tennessee and decides to have a leg funeral and buries his leg and invites the townspeople, and they come, and we have a leg funeral. But then the plot sort of takes off from there in ways you can't even imagine. But luckily, Susan did. Y'all please welcome Susan Gregg Gilmore. The Curious Calling of Leonard Bush. So this 12-year-old lad suffers somewhat of a freak accident with his foot, gets infected, and in your novel, he has to have his leg amputated.
Right.
And the repercussions, how his mother responds, how his dad responds, how his friends respond, makes up this novel. And it is really, really wonderful. And I thought, man, you may be the greatest writer ever. And then I found out where you got the idea from. So now you're only the second greatest writer ever. There really was a Leonard Bush. He really did bury his leg in real life, and you found his funeral, his gravesite.
Yeah, I did.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so I was teaching at the Appalachian Young Writers Workshop in Harrogate, Tennessee. I don't know if y'all know where that is. It's where Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky all come together. And so I wanted these kids to write about a human character, because if I didn't encourage this assignment, they'd write about zombies all week, and that's just not where I was going. So I marched them up to the cemetery the very first day, and I said, from the clues you can gather from the landscape and a tombstone, you have to develop a character that you're going to work on all week long. Wow. There was one tombstone that said Leonard Bush's leg, 1923. Not one kid was impressed by that.
These kids.
I know. I could not shake it. I took everybody up there to see this tombstone. Took my friend Belinda, who was teaching songwriting at the same camp. I just thought it was amazing.
No, when you come across a tombstone that says Leonard Bush's leg, yeah, that gets a second look. And these kids are missing the boat. Put down the TikTok, kids, and get with this leg thing. So you did research, also interviewing psychologists and people that work with prosthetics about the physical and the emotional repercussions of a
right. Not only for the child, but for the entire family. And interestingly, we were talking about this backstage, but most of the prosthetists that I talked to said it was really the hardest for the mother, even more so than the child.
That's very interesting. Mm-hmm. She birthed the child whole, mm-hmm. and just cannot stand the idea
that in her mind, my character is mine, June, that her, sweet Leonard is less than perfect.
Yes. So in your novel, June is the mother, and tell us about June. One thing I would say that everybody, I know that woman. When she's stressed out, she cleans the house. Therefore, if you go over there, it generally smells like Clorox.
Yeah, I kind of do that, though.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I have a really clean house, because if I get anxious or if my my writing isn't going anywhere, I'll clean, because, you can start and finish, and you have, a finished product that you can be proud of. A novel takes a really long time, but mopping my kitchen, 30 minutes.
And speaking of taking a long time, you took some time on this book. How long did you work on this?
12 years. Yeah, that's exactly the way I felt, 12 years.
You've got this little boy and his amputated leg on your mind for 12 years.
Well, there were a lot of really shitty drafts in there, too.
Oh, wow. Thank you, FCC.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that.
They're trying to pull the plug on us anyway. Just go ahead. Good reason.
Dang it.
We're peddling smut down there. One of the fascinating aspects of having an amputated limb, and those of you who have read about this or have a friend or loved one, is this phantom pain. Sometimes you might wake up in the middle of the night and your leg is bothering you, but it's not there.
Yeah.
You also went into, you asked folks about that as well.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it's a very real thing. And Leonard talks about this too in his novel. This, he knows it's not there, but sometimes at night he can almost, believe that his leg is still there.
Yeah. Who was it, the novelist, they had a friend that woke up in the middle of the night, he had amputated leg, had this incredible tingling in his leg that didn't exist anymore, went into the garage, and there where he had kept the bone from the leg that got amputated, a raccoon had gotten into the box and was chewing on this guy's leg.
That's true.
How about that, FCC? We're gonna go down in flames later. All right. June cleans the house when she's stressed. She takes Leonard.
Yeah, we were talking about June. Yes.
She takes. I'm sorry. She takes. Really takes it hard. The husband is Emmett. He's a kind of a good old boy. He's a dairy farmer, and he's more like, "Come on, son. We're not going to worry about this. You're just going to."
Well, they both have, June and Emmett both have a lot of trauma and loss in their own lives that was never resolved. And June is one who just continues to grieve and worry and fret, and Emmett's one, you don't talk about it, you move on. And so they approach this loss very differently, but it's actually the loss of his leg that brings them to healing ultimately.
Yeah, and as it turns out, I believe this is on the back flap, we don't want to give away too much, but suddenly folks in the town come to Leonard wanting him to bury something of theirs that they need to get over.
So, the town sees this 12-year-old boy move on so beautifully from what they think so beautifully from the loss of his leg, that one by one they start to bring them their trinkets of guilt, shame, woe, grief, and they want Leonard to bury them in the cemetery in the exact same way that he buried his leg. As Leonard said, I need a preacher, some praying, and a bit of him singing. And that's what they want for their...
And people bring whatever it is that's making them feel guilty. My favorite one may be Marie Pearson. She brings a romance novel up there and says, "Would you please bury this because it made me feel tingly." And I'm pretty sure I may have sinned on pages 235 to page 245. That's the best. And then there's a guy at the feed store who brings a hotel key. He was cheating on his wife. And then he comes a second time with another key. And a third time. Come on, man, you can't keep bringing these keys.
Yeah, even Leonard was like, no.
Yeah, twice maybe.
Yeah.
Come on. We've just scratched the surface of what this story is all about. It is a story of family, obviously, but also of forgiveness and maybe admitting you were wrong and forgiving people. Ooh, those are the two tough ones.
Yeah.
Admitting you were wrong and forgiving people.
Yeah.
So, boy, if you read this book, you will be in the mood to do both of those.
And if you can't, you clean.
That's right. There's always a baseboard that's got some funk in it that you got to get in there and get. All right, we want to hear the song. We want to hear some more about this book. Thank you so much for writing it. It is a beautiful, beautiful book. I encourage everybody. It'll put you in a good mood, and it's all in East Tennessee, so it's sort of a milieu we all know something about. The Curious Calling of Leonard Bush, y'all. Just a beautiful book. Again, we're going to hear a song from Belinda Smith, but y'all again welcome Susan Gregg Gilmore.
Susan and I got along immediately because she took children to a graveyard.
which actually, Belinda, they called it a death march, which was an obvious pun. But for them to have to walk even a half a mile, they felt was...
I knew we were going to be friends when you took them to the graveyard, so... all right, I'm going to go straight out of the gate with this one, but real quickly. I'm sorry, your cemetery is down the road and up the hill, and I think it was a walking path, but I thought it was a driving path, and so when you try to back out, it's really, really difficult, and so I'd like to apologize to any of the pedestrians that were very upset with me. There's a story people tell about a Leonard Bush's leg. Do that one more time because I want you to pay attention to the perspective there. No matter what happens, it's about how you make it feel. The dirt still falls through the hourglass of life. It's half full, half empty. You get to decide those burdens you've been carrying. They won't let you move ahead. You can leave it on the mountain. Leave it on the mountain. Leave it on the mountain. With Leonard Bush's leg.
Interestingly, Leonard Bush's body is buried on the other side of the highway. I've learned since then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in fact, several members of his family reached out to me after they heard that this novel was coming out, which I made very clear is nothing about their Leonard, but that's how I learned they actually had a lot of similarities, that they both lost their leg at 12, they both cut their foot, one on barbed wire, one on glass,
And are you like kind of related to them if you go back? Did you tell me that?
I think it's possible. Which would really be incredible because, yes, they had an odd family name that we have in our
Bush?
tree.
I didn't know that part, so I clarify for all of us.
So you never know, in
No,
Houston.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
it's quite possible. But,
So yeah, so one of the things that I think is interesting though is that you took that stone, I mean, and who wouldn't have? And what happened in that is that we were, Tennessee Humanities hired us to work with young writers, I think she mentioned that. But we were writing in such an area in Appalachia that it was really interesting for you to bring out like their stories and then also tie it to something positive in that graveyard. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, it was just to get the kids to focus on a character, a human, as I said, and not something, that was more zombie-like. They really did start diving into their own personal stories. And, they brought, to be so young, they carried a lot of pain. And I think that...
And one of the other fun things about that entire week, okay, number one, we have to move into the college dorm, and plastic mattresses are just not within my experience in my life. But where the main classes were, used to be a sanatorium. So maybe that helps you understand how Susan and I are a little bit insane, but still cool.
Yeah, it was a wonderfully productive week for me because I never could shake that. I mean, never could shake that story. I'd actually been working on another novel for an entire year, which is part of the 12 years, And then when I sent that to my agent, along with 6 pages of this Leonard Bush that I just jotted off before I sent the email, she wrote me back and said, forget that first book. This is the book you need to be writing.
And then you actually you come from like sort of an old-timey hell and brimstone. You were both going to get in trouble with FCC. That's in the Bible. Fire and brimstone church. And I think that you tied that in really well with the characters.
I do come from that. I mean, like a lot of us in the South, I've got, the grandfather who was a revival bred, fire and brimstone preacher, and so that those issues of grace and atonement, those surface frequently in my work. But, when you've been in a church service on a Sunday for a good 30 minutes waiting for somebody just to go down and commit their life to God, Christ, so you can get out of there and go on.
How many times did you and your sister do that? Did y'all count?
Oh, we would rededicate our lives, just about every other week, just so we could get on.
That's one of my favorite stories about you all.
It's nothing like a good altar call.
So I was saying.
But out of that,
yeah,
came my friendship with Belinda and the curious calling of Leonard Bush. So thank you.
Susan Gregg Gilmore and Belinda Smith. Yeah, one more time. Susan will join us after the show at the table and sign your copy of The Curious Calling of Leonard Bush, again from Blair Publishing. Quite the story, quite a novel, really well done. Thank you so much for writing it, Susan. A lot of fun.